Good day, Minecraftians. Purple Mentat here, bringing you another episode of Running Red. Now, let's get straight into it. As many of you know, but some of you seem to forget almost every video, part of the point of this series for me was to learn Witchery as I go. As such, I've been trying to use the in-game documentation mostly. However, recently I decided that the witches' ovens are not actually adequately covered by the in-game documentation, and had to visit the wiki to get the full details of what I was looking for. Specifically, I wanted to improve the efficiency of this guy, and I knew from many comments that I've received that the fume funnel would do so. However, the game itself does not directly introduce you to those, because the Collecting Fumes book only covers the bare-bone basics. I had to visit the wiki to get the full information, which tells you that the fume funnel will increase your chances of collecting the byproduct, that is the secondary output, or the fume that you're looking for. Hang on, that's not, there we go. The part that shows up right here. That it will increase that byproduct's chance by 25%. And you can have 2 of them per oven. I need glowstone. I didn't bring any glowstone down with me. I was almost prepared this episode. Stranger things have happened, but not often. I don't seem to even have any glowstone. That's okay. It's not like the stuff is hard to make. Not at this stage of the game, anyway. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Clear. And there we go. I never have enough inventory room. But that's my own fault. Hey, where'd you go? There you are. Alright. Lying back down. Let's go make some fume funnels, get those installed, make our witch's oven just that little bit better. And the best way that I'm going to be able to do that, well, let's get the funnels crafted first, or I'm going to be running into inventory issues again. You there, and the glowstone there, and now I need a whole bunch of buckets. This recipe is not easy on your iron reserves, but it's not like you don't have a large amount of it by this point in time. There we go. A couple of fume funnels. Grab my gravity gun. Get that guy moved over here. And the fume funnels can be positioned next to the left or right side with the same facing. So, right like that, and like that. And now the entire thing works as a multi-block. You can right-click on it anywhere on any of these 3 blocks. Okay, so that will give us a faster collection rate on foul fumes, whiff of magic, all of that. So let's make some more charcoal and get that rolling. I'm gonna actually wish I had more in a moment here. But yeah, as you can see, it's burning a little bit faster than it used to, and we should see a significantly higher rate of foul fume coming out of there. So the default chance of collecting fumes on the witch's oven is just about 30%. So we should see just about 80% collection rate on fume funnel on the fumes, which we've cooked 8 and found 6. That about lines up. Oh yeah, last time I found everything I needed to make another heart from the last quest rewards, so I'm up to 11 live. Fantastic. Now, next on the list, we need to get distillation going, and luckily, there is a book on the distilling right in NEI. So we're going to get that crafted. Need a Breath of the Goddess to make that book, which I should have one. I don't, actually. Breath of the Goddess. You come from birch saplings, so let's go cook up some birch saplings. I should really consider making a automated tree farm to collect lots and lots of saplings for me. I should be able to get a Breath of the Goddess out of these 2, and then I'll plant another one, just so that I can get more saplings. There we go. So yeah, out of 14, we got, out of 14 logs, we received 11 foul fumes, which is just about 80%, so it worked out pretty well. I'm very happy with the fume funnel upgrades. Those are nice. There we go. 2 wood ash, 2 Breath of the Goddess. I only need 1 at the moment. And let's make that book. The Witchcraft Distilling. Use 1 belladonna, an ink sac, and some feathers. I've got all of my witchery herbs on hand. I did change my farm around. I'll show you guys that in a minute. So I'm going to take a moment and I'm going to read through the 10-page distilling book. As it tells me, I have to ensure the distillery is near to an altar to get power. I may actually need to find something to teach me exactly how the altars draw power, as it does not seem that the in-game documentation covers that bit. Anyway, in any case, I will be back as soon as I have some more knowledge to impart upon you. See you soon. Alrighty, folks, as I continue my quest to learn a little bit more about Witchery, I've discovered that the distilling book is mostly a list of recipes. It tells you exactly what you can put in and what will come out. You can get that same information from NEI, and it tells you how to power it, and that's all it does. It does not tell you how to power the altar itself. However, there are other books that I am now able to make, and I'm hoping one of them will have the information that I need. The only way I'm going to be able to find that, though, is if I can learn how to spell. First among them, we have the Conjuration and Fetishes book, made with a flint and steel and some wood ash. We also have the Book of Biomes. I don't expect this one to tell me much, made with oak sapling and stone. And there is the Circle Magic book, which I can make with Belladonna and Whiff of Magic. And Whiff of Magic, if you remember, is created by rowan saplings in your witch's oven. So you need to have figured out Mutandis before you can get to that. There's also one more that I'm still working on getting the materials to create. I need the brews and infusions. I need Odor of Purity, which comes from the Hawthorn sapling, or will come from distilling itself, which we'll check into that in a moment. But first things first, I want to grab that Whiff of Magic. And I want to make... Oh, I actually had the Whiff of Magic. I want to grab that Belladonna flower. And I want to make the Circle Magic book. So, let's check these out together. Our Circle Magic is where I expect I might find information about the altars. And I am absolutely wrong. This is just the different rituals that you can create using chalks, which before I can make the colored chalk, I'm going to need a powered altar and distillation setup. So, Conjuration and Fetishes. May use a brazier to burn materials with magical purpose and conjure that which is no longer of this world. So, you put the ingredients into the brazier and ignite with a flint and tinder. And this will summon some various nasty things for me. Or bind fetishes for me. Okay. Well, that's interesting, but still does not talk about how to power the altar. Book of Biomes. Understanding is the first step in changing them. You can find the foci items and glowstone dust costs for each biome needed for the Rite of Shifting Seasons, which is really cool. But unfortunately not exactly what I'm looking for. So yeah, it looks like there is not any information included in-game about setting up an altar and properly powering it. The quest book on the matter, in Vampires Won't Hurt You, does talk about... where was it? There we go, Altar of Sacrifice. It did tell you to create the altar, but it does not actually tell you what to do with it. Okay, so that's a bit of a shame and a bit of a miss. So we're going to need to research the altar through the wiki. Definitely something that the Witchery creator may decide or may consider adding as a book at a later date, as so far it does a pretty good job of explaining things in-universe, but not quite a perfect one. Okay, and put it down there, and it starts charging slowly, but why? Why is it charging? What can we do with it? Well, this is what we can do with it. Altars collect power from the natural world. They have a range of 14 to 16 blocks, according to the wiki, which is, you know, it'd be nice if there were a flat 14 range. In any case, you can see it's collecting 10 every now and then. If I add a bunch of grass around it, just by right-clicking the world with some bone meal, there, a flower popped up. I'm going to do this a whole bunch until the whole area is covered in grass. Try to get some, there we go. There's a flower, there's a rose. It's moving slightly faster now. That tree there is also helping because it's within range. The only blocks that help are plants, trees, crops, flowers, dirt, the grass block, and that's it. Stone and such, no help at all. So I'll probably want to expand this platform that this altar is sitting on eventually to be a little bit larger, actually go 14 blocks down with the dirt. Might want to get a builder's wand or something before I do that. That'll be a pain. In any case, that's what we've got so far. However, we can upgrade the altar further. One very easy upgrade, you can toss a torch on it. And that will increase the recharge rate to double what it was without it. You can also improve it with a skull or a wither skull. And I believe, did I have a wither skeleton skull? I've got a necrotic bone, but no wither skeleton skull. That's okay. I'll be going back into the nether properly armed sometime very soon. You can also add some special witchery items like the chalice or the candelabra or the pentacle. I don't actually have the capability of building those yet. One other thing that you can do, if you grab an Arthana, which I have one right here, toss that on top of there, you will improve the distribution range of the altar from the standard 14 to 16 up to 28 to 32. Now, it's only going to scan 14 to 16 for power, but it means you can literally fill that entire 14 by 14 by 14 block around the altar with items that will generate power. You know, it occurs to me that it doesn't say if this range extends vertically or not. It may only be 14 horizontally. In any case, hopefully this will be good enough for the moment for us to start doing some distilling. So I'm going to get my distillery down into the world. And what exactly was I trying to make with it? I was trying to make the chalks. And the recipe on the chalks, I believe, called for gypsum. I need to distill quicklime with foul fume into gypsum, slime balls, and oil of vitriol. I'm going to need a lot more clay jars than I have. Should get started on that sometime soon. So if I put my clay jar into the bottom here, and my quicklime here, and my foul fume here, you can see that it starts running and starts processing. Now, because I have had to go far afield from having things documented in-game, it's not even using as much power as I can generate, so this altar will likely do a fairly decent job until I start getting into some very complicated mechanics. In any case, let's check out that distillery and find out what I can do to improve, if there's a way to upgrade this, which there very well may be. If I could type, that would help. Nope. The distillery just works the way it works. There is no upgrading the distillery. So you're stuck with whatever speed it's going to move at, meaning you're going to want to do some other things while you wait for it all to process. So let's get on to those other things. As I just mentioned, I'm going to want to return to the nether and collect some wither skeleton skulls. That can be rather difficult, and I know I'm also eventually going to want to face the wither itself. Best way to handle that situation, in my opinion, is to get bound armor from blood magic. And I can see that along the line there is some witchery armor available, and I think that I saw... There may have been another quest somewhere that involved... Ooh, hang on. There's a cow. I want to save it. I think I'm going to run out of time, though. Don't die, don't die. Ha! Got him. So here's how I changed up my farm area, as long as we're talking about that. Ooh, there's another one. Awesome. You know what? Maybe I should just bring my altar over here and do my witchery up here. Get it near all of these plants and everything. It's an option I might look into later. In any case, I got my actual farm over here so I can have a full farm range. I also built a little pen to hold in my mandrake. Oh, and then I accidentally crushed the farmland that mandrake was sitting on. In any case, this way they can't run around and run off the platform, which was really annoying. And I had my animals now in a pen over here that is far enough removed from the altar that they won't get accidentally killed by it. By the altar, I mean the Well of Suffering and such. Any animals that spawn outside of the pen, well, they're fair game. They become blood for the blood god. Okie dokie. So, as I was saying, let's make some bound armor. I'm sure there's a quest for it somewhere. To make bound armor, what's the name of the item that I need? I believe it's an empty cell, maybe? I had the empty right. It is an empty socket, and these are made in this pack from blocks of iron. You're going to need one empty socket for every ingot you would need in a crafting recipe for regular armor. So this is going to take quite a lot of iron. Time to spend some time making my iron oreberries work overtime for me. As to make a full suit of bound armor, considering each block of iron is only 1/8 of an ingot in that recipe, and it takes, hang on, that's 8, 15, 24, yeah, so that's going to be 192 blocks of iron, or around 1,500 iron ingots, is that right? Where's my calculator? So yeah, we have 24 by 8 by 9. 1,728 iron ingots to be able to make a suit of bound armor. That's a lot of iron, actually. Even if each one of these iron oreberries gives me 4, or yeah, they'll pulverize into 2, so it gives me 4 iron. That's still, 600 oreberries, or 432 oreberries. So maybe I'm going to want a better system to collect my oreberries than doing it manually, even with a watering can. That's going to take a while. Yeah, I think I do. So let me get on that. I'll be back in a moment once I have that figured out. Alrighty, folks. So if I want to get some automated oreberry harvesting going on, I'm going to... where'd I put it? There? No. Huh. There. I'm going to need a harvester, which I've crafted for myself using an Invar axe, some shears, a machine frame, and a redstone reception coil, also a bit of plastic. You've seen how all of this is made, so I didn't bother going through all of the steps with you. Now, what I'm going to need to do also, well, I don't need to, but what I want to do is use a tesseract. Want to move that guy. I want to move that guy. So we're going to move that guy. And I want that guy to live here now. And to do that, I'm going to need my gravity gun. Grab you, put you... Missed. There. Fantastic. And... 2. Bam, bam, bam. And then we're going to put a servo into that. We're going to waitlist the... right, I can't open that guy now because... whoops. Alright, let me fix that. It's actually a fairly easy fix. Just put you there. Grab up my netherrack. And move it again. Yes, you cannot open a chest if there's a solid block over top of that chest. This is basic Minecraft knowledge that I should have known better. So, I don't care much for the rotten flesh. What I do care for that's coming out of this at this very moment is ender pearls. That's the main thing that I want lots of coming from my setup. I feel like I have enough bones, gunpowder, and that sort of thing. So I'm going to whitelist this to ender pearls for right now. You know what? Ender pearls and string, because I don't get a lot of string out of this, and I want what little bit I do get. And everything else, I'm just going to trash. And I know that people are going to flip out on me for this one, and I don't care. So anything that can't fit into that chest, meaning ender pearls and string, is going to end up in the trash. Which also means that I need to be a little bit more careful dropping things around my vacuum hopper at this point, because anything that I drop is going to end up trashed. But that's okay by me at this time. So that should give me enough room to collect a fair few more ender pearls. Let's grab a couple stacks as long as we're at it. Get rid of... whoops, accidentally threw an ender pearl. Get rid of the rest of this armor before I move on. And show you what I'm going to be doing with those ender pearls. First thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to... oh, missed a steel helmet. Go away. First thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be transmuting my lead just a little bit at a time into shiny ingots. Because, well, actually, let me see about Let me grab my divination sigil and see how fast that's actually going down, if indeed it is at all. No, it's keeping up plenty well. So I'll just throw the other 12 in there as well. A lead ingot in a blood altar consumes 10,000 LP at a rate of 1 LP per tick. So this is going to take all day. It needs to consume 160,000 LP before it's done. And at 1 per tick, that's going to be 8,000 seconds or about 2 hours. But that's okay. I wasn't planning on actually using the shiny ingots this episode anyway. That will be next time that we're going to finish up this build. Now, I've been pulverizing a bunch of tin. And if I then pulverize my shiny ingots, pulverized tin with pulverized shiny metal and a bucket of resonant ender creates Enderium. And I'm going to want Enderium to be able to make tesseracts, to upgrade my energy cell further, and a couple of other things. To get Enderium, I need to melt ender pearls and a magma crucible, which gets me 250 millibuckets of resonant ender each. Which is why I have this magma crucible here, feeding into this fluid transposer and this cyclic assembler. Now, why do I have it going into the fluid transposer? Well, I mentioned I want to use a tesseract, and a tesseract requires bronze, silver, and a full tesseract frame. And to fill the tesseract frame, I need 1 bucket of resonant ender in my fluid transposer. So, we're already at that point. As such, we're going to shut off the output to the top for the time being and dump everything into the cyclic assembler from now on. To get my Enderium blend is going to require 1 full bucket apiece. Ooh, you know what? That reminds me, I'm actually going to need a second bucket up top. 1, 2, should be 2 more. Nope, we're good now. There we are. And let's grab a bucket so that I actually have that bucket of Enderium on hand for when I need it. Booyah. Now, I am going to want to build a... I might want to build a better ore farming station than I currently have, and I'm going to do so up here out of stone. I don't technically need the tesseract, but they're fun, and Enderium is going to be useful in the long run, so I decided, heck with it, I'll go for it. So, let me start building that platform and show you the special things that I'm going to do with it. Back later. Alrighty, folks, this is going to be my new oreberry farm, and I'm going to show you now that the actual aesthetic construction is complete, which I think it looks not too bad using stone slabs and stone in this way. I'm going to show you the rest of the setup. Specifically, maybe I don't want those quite like that. I think I should be able to do that number without causing trouble. Oh. Right, you know what? I can't have these like this. That's okay. It's highly unlikely that things will spawn in those 3 squares. And I can always put the stone slabs back. Or I could simply extend the curtain all the way to the top. That would be for the best. Blackout curtains you've seen me make before. They just use a bunch of wool. Stone slabs, if you don't know how to make those by now, then what game have you been playing? We're going to stuff our harvester right there. And our iron oreberry bushes are going to live on top of it. For now, we will close that off. Get these placed down. Now, I'm going to seal up any spot that's not currently covered by oreberry bushes to prevent spawns. Later on, I hope to have a better setup than this, where I will be able to, well, later on I hope to have more iron oreberries for one, but I also hope to be able to just expand the area in general. Now, the harvester is only covering a 3x3 directly in front of it. To make it cover something larger, we need an upgrade, and I want it to cover a 9x9. Because that's what I'm standing inside of. Well, I'm technically standing inside of an 11x11, but there are 9 empty spaces inside of it. So we're going to find the upgrade bronze, which gives a radius, upgrade tin actually, which gives a radius increase of 3. And we're going to go make one of those for the harvester. And while I'm over here, just to get things started, I'm going to grab this energy cell. Yes, that depowers almost my entire network, but that's okay. At the moment, it's not doing much. And, ooh, you know what? You guys done yet? Nope, you're still working. It's been a couple of hours, but not nearly enough for that. So I need to get my plastic, which I'm sure, don't I have some of that lying around somewhere? No? Okay. Well, I know that I can make some raw rubber with gravel, clay, and water. So let's get on that noise. 4 isn't going to be nearly enough, is it? That's okay, I have plenty more clay where that came from. Ah, out of gravel. That's fair. Do I have more in here? No, that's all right. I'll come up with more later on. And 1 cook of this will get me to the rubber bars, which then 1 more will get me to the plastic that I need. And hopefully there'll be plenty of power inside of that redstone furnace to do both without needing the redstone energy cell in place. Now, I'm also going to want a chest on that harvester for the time being. Like I said, later on I plan on replacing it all with a tesseract. I just got that started now so that it would be available for later, as that shiny takes quite a bit of time to process. And that'll probably be something I just leave running while I go do something else. And I'm going to stuff the energy cell underneath, make sure that it's outputting the top. It is. Harvester is nice and energized now and monitoring the iron oreberries. Now, I could actually get them to run relatively quickly, just standing here with my Sigil of the Green Grove activated and sprinkling them with a watering can. And I will gain a fair bit of oreberries fairly quickly this way. But I'm still only harvesting a fraction of the area, and I have to stand here the whole time. That's not okay. So instead, I'm going to be using ritual stones to make a ritual to do that for me. Actually, a couple of them. Now, the problem with this is I need a lot of obsidian to make that happen. And I've got my obsidian, my lava generating spot over here, and I can totally scoop it all in by hand, but I'm kind of moving past the idea of doing anything by hand ever again. So let's see what we can do to automate that instead. Now, I've been told that I can use a liquid transfer node to collect that lava for me. As such, let's look up what we need for a transfer node. I know I'm going to need an ender pearl, and I believe all of the rest should be in here. To make the liquid transfer node, we're going to need a regular transfer node, a bucket, some lapis, and some iron. Transfer node items is created with sorting pipe, chest, stone, and redstone, and my sorting pipes, or my pipes in general. Hang on. Look up extra utility pipes. There, transfer pipes. A little bit of redstone, a little bit of glass, a little bit of stone slab. And, right. You want me to replace you with... Oh, you don't want to do that at all, do you? That's okay. Luckily, I have plenty of sand on hand that I can cook into regular glass. Just let that happen. Won't take long. There's plenty of power left in the conduits themselves. I believe they can hold up to 10,000 RF each. So this furnace should be able to run for quite some time without any new influx of power. You go there, and you go there, and there's my transfer pipe. Why are you not working? It's because this thick glass is in there at all? Oh, because I don't have enough stone slabs. Sorry, that's my bad. Don't yell at the machine. Garbage in, garbage out. You know better. There. That's better. And now we can use that to make our item node. Gonna need to go get another chest before I can do that, though. So, where'd my air sigil go? Here we are. Transfer node. Liquid. And I know that I need 2 smooth stone, which I have on hand. Fantastic. Smooth stone, chest, ender pearl, which can't fit, but I can fix that. Will make me the item transfer node. 4 of them, specifically. Maybe. Ender pearl. Oh, hang on. There. Silly machine. And then the liquids. I'm going to need my lapis, or at least a little bit of it. And now I have a liquid transfer node. The other two items that I'm going to need for this are going to be the tank and the pump. To make the pump, I need a mining well from Buildcraft, which requires an iron pickaxe, iron gear, bunch of iron, and a bit of redstone. And then tanks are very, very simple. They are just made with 8 glass each. I'm going to make 2 of these because I need one of them to upgrade the mining well into a pump. Now this guy is going to live right here. And we're going to give it some power. And that power will come straight from the engines themselves, because I don't want that to go away at all, ever. We're going to stick our Buildcraft tank on the top of it, attach our transfer node liquid to the Buildcraft tank, run this along the top, stopping briefly to shift right click with our wrench to stop it from connecting to the portable tank, and feed it into our igneous extruder. And once again, we are shift right clicking to stop it. Now this guy should start picking up the lava. It will do so not super rapidly, but it will pick it up, which will then end up feeding into here and creating obsidian for me. And the reason that I wanted to use this particular option as opposed to a more elaborate method is because this is very low power. The Buildcraft pump does not use very much power at all, and it's just going to be a nice, steady, constant source of obsidian. If I don't want to, I can turn this guy's export option off, and it'll just build up in a stack of obsidian for me, where it'll be nice and happy and waiting. Now, I'm going to let that obsidian build up, and I'm going to make myself the ritual stones that I need to progress. Back soon. Well, folks, that's a thing that happened. So yeah, I may have right-clicked with my bound pick when I wanted to shift right-click. Lost everything to the void. There might be a gravestone down there right next to the surface that I can attempt to collect some other time. I think, though, for right now, it's time to bring this particular episode to a close and deal with the aftermath of this another time. Let's see, can I even get over there to... Yeah, there's water. Awesome. Well, now that I got here, how do I get out? Oh, nope. So yeah, basically everything I had just got destroyed, because I had it all nice in one little area that I'd be able to easily reach everything. Well, that also means it's one nice little area where I can easily destroy everything. So yeah, there's that. I'm going to do some work off camera to start recovery, and probably just spend a few hours on stream with this, putting things back together. And you'll likely see the stream, if you follow that sort of thing, before you see this episode. Aw, my. Alright, so, thank you very much for joining me. Hope you've enjoyed this episode. Sorry I didn't get the right click on camera. When it happened, I swear I was holding shift, and I was just stunned for a moment. And then the rage began. Oh boy. Luckily, I didn't lose anything completely irreplaceable. Everything that I had was something that I crafted, and I can always collect these guys out here by hand. I think first priority is going to be make myself a new potion so I can fly around and maybe build myself a path to actually get out. Well, at least I have some of my lead left and a bunch of Vinvar. That's something, right? Yeah? Sigh. Okay, so yeah, see you next time, folks.